record now. Hi, Aminat. So first of all, the name of the story is Put an End to Bullying. Subject, shared reading lesson 2. And my outcomes for the session is developing perceptual skills, developing phonological awareness skills, phonemic awareness skills, developing pre-reading skills, listening skills, and comprehension skills. My steps for the session, step 1 is to welcome the person or the learner. Step 2, perceptual skills. I'm going to play Simon Says, and this will take about 1 minute.
You are going to, I can't hear you clearly.
Step 2 is perceptual skills.
What about step 1?
I did say step 1 is where I welcome the learners or the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Step 2, perceptual skills, is where they play Simon Says. Can you hear me?
Is when you what?
What are you asking?
You said step 2.
Yeah, step 2 is perceptual skills, where they play Simon Says.
Excuse me. You see that step 1, you don't need to put it as step 1.
Okay.
The step 1 started from perceptual skills.
Okay,
You
so
understand?
step 1 can be perceptual skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't need to do the
Yes.
where I welcome the learners.
Okay.
Okay, so let's make step 1, developing perceptual skills, where they play Simon Says.
They play.
What are you asking?
You said they play.
Simon Says. It's a game where I tell them, Simon says, clap your hands, and they have to do what I tell them.
When
Okay?
you are doing, I will understand better. Okay.
Yeah. Step 2 is I didn't include which. I think it's let me just look. Phonological awareness skills. Yeah, step 2 is phonological awareness skills, where I read a word and they sound out the word. For example, I will read end and they must say e, the end.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have the phonemic awareness skills. I'm going to read 4 words to the learners. It would have been better if they had a page where they just circle a word, but I'll be reading it. Read 4 words to the learners. They should find the odd word out. Okay, so for example, school, playground, toilets, repeated.
Okay. So
the repeated is the odd one out.
Okay.
And the next one is, for example, unhappy, internet, frightened. I included 2 of the same words. Sorry. I'll just have to do that again. But for example, unhappy, frightened, lonely, internet. It's unhappy is a feeling, frightened is a feeling, loneliness is a feeling, and internet is the odd one out. So they will be doing that. Step 3, is it step 3? Yes. Step 4 is where they look at the subheadings. It's my pre-reading skills, where they look at the subheadings and they visualize what will happen in the story. And they talk about the story. Step 5, we're going to revise the vocabulary, which I did in lesson 1. And step 6, I'm going to read the text again. And while I pause and explain and ask the learners questions, step 7 is where I'm going to work with sentences. For example, I wanted to cut and move the words around, but I'll just be reading it and they'll make new sentences. For example, bullying is a problem that we need to stop in our schools. They must then make a new sentence. For example, just saying we need to stop bullying in our schools. And then my step 8 is my post reading, where I just ask the learners to talk about the story and ask the learners what they can do when they get bullied, etc. All of those questions. Just talk about how they feel. Yeah, that's it.
That's very good one. I think
Do you have any suggestions?
it's okay by me. So I'm going to start by the same story, a new pet for Marianne that I used in the last lesson. This is lesson 2 right now. The lesson is the outcome of the lesson is going to be having a strong perceptual skill, develop phonemic awareness, having strong phonological awareness and comprehension strategy. Step 1, the perceptual skill I have is keyboard letter finding.
What did you say?
Keyboard.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Keyboard.
Okay.
Key letter finding.
Okay.
I'm going to make letters like from A to Z. You understand? So when I mention a word, the word must be from the story. Then they are going to pick out the word, the letter of that word I mentioned to them.
Okay.
That would be the perceptual skills that I have here. Then the second one is phonemic awareness. My phonemic awareness, I'm going to ask them to close their eyes, then ask them to listen to what any sound that they hear as they close their eyes. So I will ask all of them to say what they hear.
Okay.
That time they close their eyes. That will be the phonemic awareness skills I'm going to use there. Then phonological awareness. Okay, I'm going to do repeat the beginning sound game. This one, I'm going to mention word, then they are going to repeat the begin. Like for example, now I say clap. So the word, the sound that is in clap now, the sound there is. So they are going to be repeating that first sound, the beginning of that of that word that I mentioned. They're going to keep repeating it for me, and that's all. Then I'm going to launch the book by going back to the cover again to discuss about the cover. And we have already read read the story to them in the last class. So I know they must have something to say about the story already. So I think this cover thing is just like we are going back again, but we are still going to use the cover to come up with discussion. Then step 5, new word. The words vocabulary we use in the other lesson is still the one. I didn't even, there are many, so I just explained like 3 in my lesson. So I'm going to continue from those words again. Then I read to them. Teacher read the text again, and the learner read aloud together with me. Then lastly, we are going to start. I'm going to ask them to summarize the story in their own word. Is either I make them to put it into writing, or I just ask them to talk about the story. Let me say I'm going to make them to talk about the story, like talk about the favorite character in that story. And that's all I have for.
Okay. So what you can do at the end is just where they can talk about the story. You can also put
Yeah.
specific questions in. So just to get them talking.
Yes, I'll
Specifically.
get
That's
them
all.
talking. That is all I have
Yeah,
in this lesson.
that's fine.